Oh, yeah, morning. Good morning, friends. Oh, Jesus Christ. How are you people doing this? How are you getting up to watch these fucking games? Right, I've just spent all... I got up at like 1:30 and just spent like the last 90 minutes setting up the stream and try and make it look a little bit better. So let me know if it looks bad or good or anything I can tweak and fuck around with. It's 11 a.m. It's 3 a.m. 20 past 3 here. So... Oh, I just realized I should probably get rid of my fucking Twitch delay, shouldn't I? Cause... Yeah, Where's Vince? I think he's swinging by later. Henry's swinging by later too. Duncan says he's got a cold, so he's not feeling it today. Hoping Sam's gonna come in as well. So, so yeah, let me take the delay off, because I think, like, is it gonna be fucked up? Because I'm like delayed talking to you, and you're delayed and I'm watching the game. So even though the game's delayed, if you're watching the main stream as well, like, you'll get spoilers on that. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe not. Maybe it's fine. Oh. You might as well get rid of it. Okay, let me see what... I don't even know where the delay actually is. So let me just check if it's... Is it in my... Yeah, that's not it. Right, where's the fucking... Thank you for the sub there, Gaz OZ. Appreciate it, brother. So let me just see. Is it on here? Yeah, I don't use OBS. Fuck OBS forever, by the way. And I don't think I have the delay on XSplit. I think it's in this. I think I've got it on Twitch. Oh god, they changed everything in the back end of Twitch, didn't they? No. What? Nice. 12-month badge, which we still haven't designed properly yet, so I'm sorry it sucks, but thanks for 12 months, brother. That's some hardcore shit. Is it in this? No. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Stream marker, ad break, stream delay. Oh, I don't have a delay after all of that. So there is no delay. The delay is just a natural Twitch delay. So, no problem. See, that's how early it is. I'm just a fucking absolute idiot. And for some reason, my sub noise is going off twice all the time. I keep saying thanks for the money, sucker, double. I don't know why that is. It's too early for... It's too early for this shit. Thanks for all the subs that are coming in, though. Oh, no. Did they ever fix a little latency? I think it's pretty good. Right, let me just find out. Is it because I got two? Yeah, it could be this. Yeah, maybe I just have to turn the noise off. I suppose it could get annoying anyway, right? Hearing thanks for the money, sucker, 50 times a day, like so. This is so stupid. I can't do this, guys. It's too early. It's too fucking early, dude. This is like the third day in a row I've got up at this time. I'm absolutely fucked, dude. Let's just get rid of that. Right. Let's get rid of the thanks for the money, sucker. Okay. Right, let's talk about some fucking Counter-Strike. Holy shit. What a fucking early fucking morning. I've had like loads of messages as well, like people just hitting me up saying, Rich, have you been going to sleep? I'm like, nah, dog, I ain't fucking slept at all. The mage is actually killing me. So, yo, and does everyone's asking if this is by the numbers? The stream does say it's the No Majors Club, right? And when we're watching Counter-Strike, it doesn't say it's by the numbers. It shouldn't. I did change it. So, anyway. Yes. So, we're up watching a game. Astralis are going to fucking absolutely batter Team Spirit. There's no doubt about that. I'm not too worried. I think this is where we see Astralis go through. So, it's good. It's a good opportunity to just talk some shit about other stuff that's been going on. Predictions for today. I guess out of all of the shock ones, I got Complexity winning that game against Vegas Squadron. I think that's the place to go. If you're looking for upsets, I think this will be very straightforward. I just don't think Team Spirit really have that kind of strength required to kind of beat Astralis, especially on Dust 2. It's quite sensible that we end up on this. I can understand Team Spirit's thinking, like, get them on this map, but no one on Team Spirit can out-aim Astralis, so this is going to be very one-sided and over very quickly. But I got Complexity to beat Vega. It'll be close. 16-13, I want to say. Something like that. I mean, it's all map dependent. I think what's going to happen is the Vega Squadron are going to play Complexity on Inferno. I think that'll be the map that'll come out. I got Complexity to win. But yeah, Astralis haven't looked great. This is going to be the first, like, dominant performance by them. But that, like, it's only because they're playing Spirit, right? If you do CL obs interp enable, it gets rid of that fucked up smooth transfer. Really? CL obs. Okay, done. What do I think about the Astralis map pool? Mirage looks pretty bad. Yeah, they lost Mirage the last 4 times they played it. What you got to remember is, right, like, when you're the #1 team in the world, right, and I've seen this many, many times down the years, when you're the #1 team in the world, what happens is everybody watches your demos. So it's not that their map pool has got bad. It's that you, as the #1 team, effectively teach everyone in the world how to play the map. So what happens is you got to play maps that you've got locked in the bag, and it's like playing a mirror matchup. It's like playing yourself, because everybody knows what your tactics are, everybody knows your tendencies, everybody knows your positions, and then it comes down to, well, how do we beat ourselves? You know, this is the thing with anti-strats when you're the #1 team in the world. You heard MSL at DreamHack Stockholm. He said he'd studied 150 Astralis demos. What the fuck are you going to do? You know, if North hadn't have played Astralis twice, I don't think they win DreamHack Stockholm, as crazy as that sounds. But MSL prepared to beat Astralis. And yeah, exactly what Seal Puppet is saying there. You become the meta. You are the meta. You are the way you play the game. So leading from the front is so difficult because you've got to constantly reinvent without giving stuff away. So there is an argument, as I see it, that maybe Astralis are holding something back in these early stages and like playing a little bit within themselves. Maybe they're holding some stuff back for the later stages. But honestly, it's just difficult. Like when everybody watches your demos, Yeah, and look, it happened to SK Gaming, Luminosity. You want to go back to Counter-Strike Source. Everybody watched Very Games demos. That was how you learned to play Counter-Strike if you were a high-level, Source player. And yes, some people are going to laugh and say that's an oxymoron, whatever. But, what Very Games were able to do repeatedly was they were able to always reinvent themselves. Maybe not always on the same maps, but they'd push one map out. When everybody started playing Nuke the way the French played it, they just stopped playing Nuke. And then they were like, okay, we'll start banning Nuke, or, we'll maybe let it through if we've got a specific targeted ban, but we'll just go reinvent on a new map. We'll do something different on Inferno. We'll do something different on, whatever it was, Dust 2. So. Do I think anyone has a chance to upset them? Absolutely. Like the other thing you've got to remember is how many times. Thanks for the subs, by the way, guys. Not ignoring you, Flexord and Young Ulti. The majors never go to the favorites. Like super rare. Nice. It's very rare they go to the favorites. So, I mean, like, you've got conventional wisdom means you got to put Astralis down as the favorite, but, can people beat them and upset them? Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely. Move the sub notification so it doesn't cover the rounds. Oh, bring it down a little bit. Yeah, I get you. I'm with you. Yeah. Done, my friends. Done. You think about it. Yep, cheers for the sub there, Legendary. You think about it, yeah, like Cloud9 won a major when it was meant to be FaZe. Fucking, Gambit won a major when it was meant to be anyone but Gambit.
Love you doing CS content. Who do you think is gonna be the 2 finalist teams?
Yeah, sorry about that. I haven't turned off the noise for the taser thing. Yeah, so who do I think is going to be the 2 finalist teams? It's very tough. It's almost too early to say at this stage. I think Astralis are going to get to the final. Who they play there, like loads of people are hyping up Team Liquid right now. I really don't feel that. I know there's not a lot of people feeling FaZe either at the moment, though. So really hard to say. I'd like to see FaZe in a final again. Honestly, I kind of feel a bit sorry for them, the way everything's kind of panned out. And you just want Guardian to fucking get a major, right? So, but undoubtedly for me, I still think you've got to have Astralis as the favorites. Like, just no doubt. MIBR win the major. Nah, it's come around too soon for them, dude. 100%. In your opinion, is it better to be great at a few maps or average good on a wider pool? Yeah, tough one. Honestly, the answer's both. I think you've got to be competitive on every map. Like when you think about when NIP were great, not 87-0 NIP, but the NIP after that. Oh, Henry's here. Hold on. Henry will be a better answer to this question. Where is he? He's asking me to move him in. Yeah, you all right, geezer?
Now then, what time is it over there?
3:30 in the morning, sir.
Reasonable time to be watching.
Reasonable time. I've just drank a litre of coffee, and it hasn't touched my brain. It's just wrecked my heart, though. My heart is like going like the fucking clappers, like I've just had a line or something.
The palps.
Yeah, the palps are in. So look, I had a guy just ask me a question, which you're definitely better equipped to answer than me. He said, in your opinion, is it better to be good on, like, is it better to be amazing on a few maps, or or good on a wider map pool?
It depends in what context. You're talking about a team, or an individual?
Yeah, a team.
Matchmaking. It depends. Like, if you want to have like an upset potential going for these sort of tournaments, best of ones, especially, you want to be specialist. I think on like maybe 3-4 maps, and you want to be trying to hope the veto goes in your favor. Like teams like QB5, for example, they'll turn up and like they won't be able to play all the maps, and just hoping you don't have to go near them because you can veto out so much. But as soon as you get to the best of 3 rounds, that's when it's a very different story. So Swiss format doesn't really matter. You could have 3 or 4 maps. We used to have plenty of teams where we just ride the coattails of being good on a few maps. We had to play the shit ones. We're just like, well, we might be able to play it on the day, sort of thing. So yeah, I guess obviously the best teams in the world like Astralis can play all the maps, but yeah, I guess if you're an underdog team, you don't have to know all of them in this sort of tournament.
Yeah, I think apparently people are saying they can barely hear you and your mic's bad, so I'm turning you up in Discord. I don't know if you can turn yourself up a little bit. I can hear you fine, but let me pump that up as well.
Got a fan on, maybe that's why.
Yeah, let me just knock that down a notch, and because he's super loud for me, but it might just be the people. Yeah, don't worry. I think it's just because I'll EQ it over the course while we're talking. The chat just keep feeding me back, and I'll keep fucking with the volume levels. But yeah, I mean, so what I was saying was, I pretty much answered the same. I think it's got to be both, right? Because like you need to, like you've got to have a specialist map. Like every team has to have one that they consider themselves to be unbeatable on, right? Like
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, or there's just no point in even turning up to the game. And then also, I think if you can't be competitive on a wide range of maps, like you're obviously never going to be a top tier team. I was just talking about NIP, like not 87-0 NIP, but the NIP we had after that, where it was so hard to put them to bed on like any map. They were guaranteed double figures on any map you picked, and they would probably beat you on their map as well.
Well, yeah, they'd be playing Nuke at that point and just completely batter you on it. No one could touch them on Nuke.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then they had cash for a bit. I think they had like a 20 map streak or something like that. Yeah. And then that dropped off. The thing is, well, you can be good at these maps for a long time, but as soon as you're the best on a certain map, everyone starts to play like you do. And then at that point, you have to evolve, and that's what all the top teams do. Astralis were the best on Overpass for a while because they had that B execution. No one else could touch that. And then as soon as everyone else worked it out, their game isn't as good anymore because once you know how to do it yourself, you know how to counter it at the same time. So you can only be the best on a certain map if you keep evolving, I think. You have to make sure you have variations to your strategies and understand when you need to change things up.
Yeah, I mean, like, right now, like, because this question was coming up in context with Astralis. Like, Astralis obviously have, like, one of the deepest map pools in the game, but we've seen, like, the last 4 times they've played Mirage, now they've actually lost. Which is, like, obviously not a good sign coming into a major, but that was, like, one of the maps you could usually rely on them to, you know, put you to bed on, and it just hasn't been happening that way. Is that like, anything to be, like, mega worried about, do you think?
Not gonna lie to you, Richard. What's typing when you said the last bit of that question? Can you say it again?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, just saying, like, Astralis have lost Mirage the last 4 times that they've played it, so, whereas before, it was kind of a map you could usually rely on them to win, right? It was one of their better ones. Is that concerning?
I'm not sure about it being concerning, because, I don't know, Mirage is one of the maps that everyone plays, right? Everyone plays it a very similar way, and I guess it swings and roundabouts. It is like, maybe the way the game is being played right now doesn't really suit them, but that always changes. I think the mentality of Mirage seems to change so much. Teams have to be aggressive on the CT side for a while, and then that gets shut down by a decent double up setup, and they don't do it. It very much depends on the matchups and the play styles, I think. It's difficult to really say that Mirage is bad now. They're never going to be bad on any map. Like,
yeah, true.
They're still going to be competitive, whatever happens. but it's certainly not one of their specialists anymore. I think they really focus on like trying to get towards Inferno. Their Dust 2 seems really spot on right now. Dust 2 is such an interesting map as well. I love the way it hasn't really changed in terms of the strategies and stuff. Like everyone's doing the same fucking shit as they were doing, even in Source, it's the same strats.
Yeah, but I'm like super glad that people are starting to realize that, like, oh yeah, we actually did need it in the fucking map pool.
It's so unique, isn't it? It's like it's so different the way it plays out, and I love, especially in big like playoff games and stadiums. Like I get so hyped when Dust 2's there, I know we're gonna get a brawl. Like you're gonna see the star players really light up the scoreboard. You're gonna see some crazy clutches. You can see some picks at the start that gets everyone going, and the mind games of the snipers. I think it's my favorite map to cast next to Inferno by far.
Yeah. Well, like, it should never have been out of the map pool. For me, it was never like so much of a problem that it needed to be taken out. Honestly, like I think maps that we've we've had introduced as replacements have been much bigger problems, right? Like, fucking Cobblestone. Like it just seems like there's just no way to realistically fix that. And I still think Nuke is a problem map for me.
Yeah. Well, for Nuke, they've changed it so many times, and still it doesn't really seem that compelling to watch or play. Like, I don't think it's a map anyone would ever opt to play. Like even if you're playing at home, like on face or matchmaking, where no one really wants to play it, it's considered a pretty bad map unless you're in a proper team. And even when I cast it, I watched that map probably more than anyone, and it's just like that hasn't evolved either. Even with the changes, you think it'd bring more strategy and stuff. Yeah. Because teams are so shy of playing the map, like no one's really that good at it. I can't. Like, there's a few teams that are dangerous on it, you know, like they look like that you wouldn't want to play them on it, but I don't think that their strategy's the next level. They don't have a real crazy understanding. There's got much better players who want to play it.
Yeah, it's not like the old days where you'd watch 1.6 teams play like that insane retake strat where they'd be hiding in the vents and do coordinated flashes to like retake a bomb site. There's like nothing equivalent to that you see, or like in Source when Renegades used to do that like crazy outside boost and take over.
I think
ladder
they
room.
castrated the map when they removed one of the events. Now you've only got one event. Like if the bomb ever gets down lower, for example, like that's just a fucking GG of a round in itself.
Yeah.
And it, like CTs can just patrol the entire of the event area. Just have one guy there holding a tight angle. You can't really dive it. I think I don't know why they decided to remove one of the events. It really didn't seem like a wise decision for me, like why that had to happen. But I don't know. It is a shit map for me. Yeah, like everyone, the observers hate watching it. We hate casting it. The players don't really seem to enjoy it that much.
Yeah, nah,
that's got to be the next one to go.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like, what else is there left to try other than completely rework it, right?
We bring back Tuscan, Rich. If we get rid of the nuke, something.
Why? Again, Tuscan, like, you know, going back to when it was CPL Mill or Clan Mill Beta, like that's a great map. That's like a really fucking good map. Like I think it's balanced, lots of room for tactical nuance. You know, there was other maps that I'd like to see. I was a big fan of Contra. I know not everyone else was, but
not for me. Too many novelty features. I couldn't.
What, the speed in the sewers, the speed hack?
There's the rushing middle, drop down sewers, jump in the water. It's just for me. It's just like it was too much of a clusterfuck each round. I didn't like. I thought it was too big for CS as well. I felt too far removed from any other map.
I never liked Season. I did
like Season. You know, I thought that was okay.
There was Rusker as well, was one, but I actually think out of all of those kind of maps that came out, I thought CPL Fire was really good too.
Yeah, Fire wasn't bad. Like that was one of the maps. Once you it took a while to appreciate it for what it was, but the defaults worked really well on that map. There was good flight paths to take, and there was execution potential. Yeah. But that map was cool. It just wasn't played enough for anyone to really remember it. I don't think it's not like a fond memory of 1.6 or anything. It's like it happened at a few events, but not often.
Yeah, it's a shame, really. I think like we definitely just when we do these like fucking operations or whatever, we need to introduce like not just one map. We need to like commit and like get some tried, tested, and true maps that back into the pool. Take out some of the ones that definitely aren't working, like all in one go, or don't take any out at all. Like no one's ever had the balls to just like introduce a bunch of maps and say, right, as an IGL, you've got to learn another 3-4 maps now. Suck it up. I think that'd be really interesting.
Well, I did say teams were had a fighting chance here. They're getting absolutely fucking bodied.
Nah, mate, there was no way Astralis were like, especially on Dust 2, man. Like, what the fuck is Spirit gonna do here? Like, They needed somebody to basically have like in individual level of performance, and outside of Dav and fucking Dimisic, they don't really have anything on this team anyway, so. So what did you get up to last night anyway after we went off Vince's stream?
Played 2 Point Hospital for like 5 hours.
I knew it. So you were like, yeah, I'm going to eat my takeaway and go to bed. Oh,
Dude, I'm so obsessed with that game. It's unbelievable. I love it. Like I'm such a nerd of it. Like I want to get every star, every percent on every level. I just sit there even when the levels are finished, like just researching every possible thing you can to get all the achievements. It's the only game I really care about that shit. Like I just want to make sure I do everything 100%.
Yeah, full completion.
Yeah, it's just because I loved that game so much as a kid. It's like it actually makes me happy playing it.
Yeah,
it's one of the few experiences in gaming where I feel happy.
No, I'm definitely gonna get a copy of it, like 100%.
It's a great game for your stream. You've done like Prison Architect and stuff before, haven't you?
Prison Architect was popular.
Yeah, so those kind of games on stream are wicked because you can like name everyone, you can do all the, they can tell you what kind of rooms to build and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like there's been a new update for RimWorld, and but Prison Architect's always got potential to come back. Big fan of that, man. But yeah, I want to. Like, there's just so many games I want to play. Like, and I just right in the middle of the majors when I've got all my time off.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, guess I ain't playing any games because I've got to watch all of the Counter-Strike matches, you know.
All right, they shouldn't be going to like 10 p.m. tonight. There's only 6 games, I believe, today, and they've got a 16-3 kick it off. So this should be reasonable.
Yeah. Well, especially with like, there's a lot of very one-sided matches today. Like, this is just over before it began. Like I said that to the stream. This is just like a nice, super quick fucking map to start the day. I had 16-2. I'm a round out so far, so. But yeah, once this is done, we got is it the complexity game next?
No, Renegades Tyloo, I think.
Tyloo, we got that. Renegades have looked awful.
Mate, Tyloo ain't looked great either.
Tyloo are just Tyloo. They're just like chaotic. Here's the thing: Bentek can't. He's had 2 bad days. That's got to be a world first. He's not having a 3rd bad day. He's gonna absolutely fucking smash people a day, like 100%.
That Optic game was painful to watch at times, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Quadruple overtime as well, right?
Mate, I love it. Bring me more of those.
Yeah, the one advantage Renegades do have going into that is obviously because they come through the Asian qualifier, they always play Tyloo in the final, and you know they've got a
That's
really
true. You forget about that. They're actually a bit of a rival, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got a really good record against Tyloo for sure, but I still got Tyloo to win today because I think Renegades have just looked shit.
They have. They need a vast change. The thing is, though, how do you change that team up? Do you sacrifice the fucking Asian qualifier spot and get rid of one of the Aussies?
You know, right. You know their owner, the basketball player, Jonas Jerebko.
Yeah.
Like he's a serious cat, man. Like he's he wants to fucking like actually have like a team that wins and wins events. He's like trying to do that balancing act of, well, these guys have been loyal to the brand. They're really good model professional players. It's not that they're doing anything wrong. It's just that they're not good enough to win tournaments. So he's obviously of the mindset, you don't kick loyal subjects. You don't kick loyal players. But equally as well, he definitely wants to win. I think the problem you've got is you can't keep any of the Australians if you decide to do a roster change, because what's the point? They're not good enough individually in their own element to keep them. The only reason you retain the core of the Australian team is because you're guaranteed to go to the major every time. But ultimately, how many times can you go to a major, sell your stickers, and bomb the fuck out?
Yeah, like that doesn't even seem profitable. I don't think.
No, it's a false economy,
as they used to be, in terms of finances. I don't think that's a sustainable business plan at this point. Going forward, is going to the major every year.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a false economy for fucking sure. And and I think like they'll probably go for an NA team next. Keep in mind they are going to be what is it, the Detroit? Is it the Detroit Renegades?
Detroit Renegades. I don't think they really use it anymore. I think it's just Renegades. I think they started off as what was the first city they were in?
I can't remember. Was it always Detroit, or was it something else?
No, they changed it. When
they were the LA Renegades, I think.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were the LA Renegades for a bit. Went back when Monte Cristo was there. So, yes, I mean they've already like as teams go, you don't have an identity. You're coming through this Asian qualifier, beating nobodies. It's not even good practice to get to the major, right? Because you're just beating up on Asian teams, and then you play Tyloo. It's just I don't know, the whole thing doesn't work for me. And if you genuinely care about this like regionality thing, don't be like Overwatch where it's like you've got fucking London Spitfire, now meet your local lads, 5 Koreans.
That I find that so weird.
Yeah,
I guess to be fair, you can't be too mad at it. Like if you look at fucking Manchester United, for example, like the amount of fucking English people on that team is like that's just the way it fucking is sometimes. You know?
Yeah, but they at least have implemented rules in world football where you've got to have so many people that were produced naturally by the club youth academy, right?
Sure. Okay.
You have to. You have to, or
Yeah.
you're not eligible to play in European competition and stuff. So, I think, like honestly, I think they should just look at NA, keep nifty. You know, they've got Ryu in now. Like Ryu knows what he's doing around NA. Knows how to pick up players.
You say you're keeping nifty. Then what are you doing? Because Jacob ain't going to stay around for a new NA project.
I don't know. I think Jacob would, because Jake, like, this is still the last chance saloon for Jacob. He's not done enough to go.
He's not done enough in this team, has he? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No.
So who would pick him up after this? Maybe that old Norwegian lineup that's getting talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that with him, Rubino and stuff like that, and who else is in that one? Was Reigns?
Yeah, it was Rubino. Well? Reigns gonna stay at FaZe. It's gonna be Rubino, Croman. Can't remember who the other one was, and then maybe Jacob will move.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, Jacob's contract, as far as I was aware, was 6 months, but that feels like that's already expired. So I'm not sure he signed a new one. I have no idea. But...
I don't think he's like stood out enough to me to like, let's lock this guy down.
Yeah, if you look at his form when he was playing in Kingwin, for example, before they became FaZe, like that's when he was like he looked super sick. Everyone was like, "That this guy's like world class or has the potential to be."
Yeah, and
then he just really dropped off. I don't know. He's still like an okay player. He's fine, but he's definitely not a star anymore.
Yeah. So I think like it's really sad what happened to Jacob. I mean, because like I'm done with CS in terms of attending events. Again, I can talk like honestly about it now, and not really fear any reprisals or get accused of being unprofessional. But Jacob's a guy who had a lot of personal problems. Like you remember in Cluj-Napoca when he was in that team with Makalele, and he was the breakout rookie that year. End of 2015, he just came.
That was the Kingwin team.
Yeah, the Kingwin team that was G2, and then went on to become FaZe. He was unbelievable. He was unbelievable at that major. Sure, Makalele had all those ridiculous 1v1s and 1v2s, had more clutches than anyone in the tournament.
They got to the quarters, right?
Yeah, they got semis, I think it was. They went out in the semis against G2. Wow. I think. It's a long time ago, and I've obviously drank a lot of alcohol since then and killed some brain cells. But... yeah, there you go. G2 King win against Envy in the semis. There you are.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so that's how far they got. And, and Jacob was unbelievable. Like, I think we were talking about him as MVP at the end of that tournament. So when you think about what happened to his career, and again, listen, one of those ugly specters of fucking gambling. He was a guy who got sort of heavy into skins and all of that nonsense, and he just took his eye off the ball as a player. It's just really sad, because basically when he was on the come up, and he was in FaZe, like that was the opportunity. That could have been the accelerator pad for him to be like this amazing fucking player, and just didn't happen like that. He started getting involved into that murky world, and thinking more about his inventory than what he did on the server. and now, and he realizes it now. If you talk to him now, he's like, fuck, the game's blown up even bigger than it was in 2015, and he could have been a big star, could have been a really, really big star. So yeah, just sad, like what happened to Jake. But I think maybe he does need to go back to Norway, right? Maybe
I think that,
maybe that fixes him.
This team is never going to do anything, is it? Like this in his current state, and unless he's getting paid really nicely over there, I just don't see a reason to keep living in America and play with this team. Like it just doesn't seem as beneficial for anyone. They all seem quite miserable when they play. You can see the look on their faces. They don't want to be there.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of what was happening back when Chad and Havoc were in Renegades.
Yeah, right.
And they had that same body language. It's like they just knew they knew what the problem was, but nobody could say it because it's like we're all friends, ostensibly.
Yeah, we just saw it yesterday against bloody Space Soldiers. Like that's got to be the lowest of the low in terms of victories you can possibly squeeze through. When Hardstyle almost gets a fucking 10 bomb against you, it's like you got to be winning these games, boys. What chance have you got in the future of this tournament if you can't fucking stand on your own 2 feet in this game? Like this should be you running away with this and saying, shaking hands, being humble, just saying like, good game, lads. Sorry about the situation.
Yeah.
But instead, they were sweating the entire way through.
Yeah, and again, like you saw when they had those last couple of timeouts right at the end, right? Like nobody was talking to each other. Nobody was talking. Both Estillo and can't remember who it was now, sat at the other end, the opposite end. Both of them just disconnected from the team, literally head in their hands. It's like you are playing a 4v5 here, guys. It really shouldn't be this fucking stressful for you at all. And like you say, they were just breaking under. I don't even want to say pressure.
It's the lowest form, really. You should be going into this game right. Who are we going to play next? Who could we potentially have after this one? What a lifeline here, boys. Quite literally a lifeline in the tournament.
Just really fucking stupid, dude. And like a lot of people are saying, like it sucks for Space Soldiers, and yeah, it definitely does. But I mean, I would hate to be a fucking Renegades fan. Like at least Space Soldiers were resigned. Like we are playing 4v5 this tournament. We're gonna do all we can with hardstyle, but like realistically, we know we're not gonna get to the later stages, and we're preparing everybody for that. We're gonna try, but barring a miracle, it's not gonna happen. Renegades looked like they were gonna go out 0-3, and they were given the ultimate lifeline. Like congratulations, Renegades.
They were just going to romanticize the major by giving Space Soldiers that win towards the end. It's just like, well, the Space Soldiers are going to get a win. They won't do anything else, but they beat Renegades. It's like, fucking hell, it was that close. People thought, at least they got a win.
Yeah, like, unbelievable, isn't it? That the only team Space Soldiers actually looked like they had a chance to beat was Renegades. I mean, that's how bad you are. So, I don't know. I think after this major, I think, Jonas is just going to take a look at the situation with his management team. I think Ryu's been brought in, not just as a coach, to help with the team.
He discovered Nifty as a talent. I think. Like
there's a right, exactly. Their relationship in history tells you exactly what's going to happen. Ryu knows Nifty. Nifty's currently the in-game leader. The coach and the IGL are going to get together, and he's going to be like, "Look, let's rebuild a team, and we'll get rid of the Australians, and together we're going to pick,
Sad thing is, that'll probably be the end of the Australians' careers as well. They'll probably end up back in Australia, like some other players have.
Yeah,
you won't hear from them again.
What?
Maybe JKS will make it. Like I think he'd be a valuable pickup. But
like the sad reality is, as much as I love the guys, again, like you can't let that colour the reality. They haven't looked good enough to be even NA level of pros. And when you look at all these like exciting prospects that are being dangled out there, like young players coming through in NA, players that like Som, for example, who's been in Complexity very briefly and didn't work out for whatever reason. But he's like he's got phenomenal potential.
Mate, we have to look at teams like Ghost and NRG, for example. These are lots of players and teams you didn't think you'd see anything from. Ghost, especially, Josh's team. They've looked sensational. They've looked exciting. They've looked like they could cause damage in a tournament and had maps where they look, wow, these guys could actually do something in this tournament.
Yeah.
I haven't thought that about Renegades maybe in 6 months. Like, I think they have like the one tournament where you're like, oh, cool, like, they've still got some life in them, and then the next tournament turn up and this looked like shit. This is like, well, how long are we going to do this for? Just riding the major system?
Oh, like, you know, and listen, you know the Aussies as well as I do. Like, there's going to be no hard feelings there. They have been given more than a fair shake.
Yep.
More than a fair shake. You know, the crazy thing is, when those players do go back to Australia after the major, I'm pretty sure this is how the future is going to pan out. I wouldn't even say necessarily they're going to immediately slot into the top teams in Australia, because if you look at like some of the teams that have kind of like broke through, yeah, like, you know, Greyhound and you know, what's the other one? I can never fucking remember their name.
Is it like Tainted Minds or something like that?
Yeah. You know, like, they've got some decent players on there too, and with IEM Sydney on the talent pool now, like, I don't think these guys go back and like start ruling fucking even their domestic scene, because they just haven't looked anything other than very low, like tier 2 NA pros, basically, is what they've looked like. So
yeah, it's a shame. Well, maybe they can beat Tyloo today, Richard, and all will be forgiven. We'll be back on the hype train, and everyone will be holding hands and waving the blue flag. We'll be fine.
Well, like you say, again, like, this is how you gauge how bad Renegades actually are. They've been given a lifeline here by playing Tyloo, a team they know intimately, a team they beat in the Asian qualifier to even get here. So you've been fed space soldiers. You've been given a 4v5, and you're fucking. Do you know what Nemesis means? You've been given your
domestic bitch.
Yeah.
You've got them in the next round.
Exactly.
Well,
like, I mean, like, Face It are doing all they can here to get you into the next fucking round. Like, yeah, you know,
really
like,
hooked you up this time.
like, what more do people fucking want? But like, while I'm waiting for the game to start, here you go. The one after that is Hellraiser's Optic. I got Hellraisers for that too.
I've got Hellraisers as well. I think fucking those two lads, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Too fucking strong right now, and Optic just looks too average for me.
Yeah.
Way too average, especially on the map as well. If they get like a Cash or a Dust 2 coming through, like, it's going to be fucking brutal for these guys. Hellraiser's just too strong individually. We at Stockholm, right? Voxic turned up like the third day or something like that. He arrived like an hour before this game started.
Yeah.
He just sat down and fucking dropped bombs on cunts on the server. Like, he just sat down. I said to him, there's no chance he plays well. He can't turn up to a tournament, be ready to go and play at this level. And he fucking almost got in the game. It was fucking crazy, the shit he was doing.
Oh, mate, like, the guy's mustard. I keep saying, you know, just imagine a world where you get Xantaras and Woxic on the same team. Like,
yeah. Well, how do we make that happen? Because it'd be a rare day where they're even on the same team. They could even attend the same event.
Mate, well, yeah. That's
a massive problem.
But like, they need to they gotta fucking sort that out. They gotta be like Dylan and fucking Arnie at the start of Predator.
They need like an Optic behind them. Then we might be able to work something out. I think it's just there must be some sort of legal solution and something they could do.
Mate,
get over to America. Or
it ain't so different in America. What all you need is you just need a law firm that's competent and a company that can vouch for you with like very strong legal authority. So in other words, you need money and know-how. Like when I got my visa, keep in mind I have an exceptional person's visa. That's what I've got. Yeah. Right? Think about it, like, let that sink in, everybody.
Sure.
I'm deemed an exceptional person. And I got a letter from the Screen Actors Guild. You know, I got letters from senators saying.
How long does an exceptional person allow you to stay for?
So I'm on my second now, because every time you change job, you got to re-up. But it's a 3-year visa.
Okay, that makes sense. So even if you stay with the same job, you can renew it, and it's fine.
Yeah, but this is the great thing about an exceptional person's visa. Even if I was made unemployed tomorrow, I wouldn't have to leave America. The visa permits me to stay even if I'm unemployed.
Yeah,
because I'm an exceptional person.
Right.
I certainly am. So, you know, but to get that type of visa, what we had to do was we had to get senators to vouch for me, say I was like an expert in my field and my field is going to generate jobs. We had to get like the Screen Actors Guild to say Richard Lewis is a member of the Screen Actors Guild. He's a TV host, and, you know, blah, blah. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. There was a team of lawyers working on getting me that visa. That's the level of work you have to be willing to commit. And a player like Woxic, you could make all these arguments. He's one of the top athletes in his field. He will be traveling internationally. He does enrich America if he comes over here and plays, right?
I guess until he becomes like a proper personality with a following and stuff, like, sure, he's a great player, but he's not really he doesn't have a public profile yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't seem like he has done loads of interviews. He hasn't got like loads of funny moments on camera, and you can show people, like, you can show him his gameplay, sure, but I guess it'd be easier to make it happen if you had a better brand per se.
I mean, it definitely helps, but again, like, that's got to be on the organization. That's why when you say Optic, it's a really good example, because if you play for Optic give you a YouTube channel, a Twitter presence. They give you all of this. So immediately, when you're doing your very preliminary stuff for a visa, you can be like, look, I am one of the top athletes in my field in the world. I've got 500,000 Twitter followers. I got a YouTube channel with 500,000 subscribers. My last vlog that I did, here's 2 million views on it. These things do make differences when you're applying for this type of visa. So yeah, you're right. Having a better brand would help, and this is why I said it yesterday. I'll repeat it again for people who weren't there. If you're gonna have international players from countries that will need visas and will be subject to scrutiny should they decide to go to America in particular, but just abroad in general, you need to be a serious organization. You can't fuck around, and like Hellraisers just aren't that. If you're telling me Hellraisers that are still, having fucking case sponsorships and this kind of thing, if you're telling me they're a serious international organization, I got a bridge to sell you.
All I will say is they're doing very good business right now, so they've got to sell those players eventually.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it's gonna be fine in the end. Like those players, I reckon they'll be able to sell like well into deep six figures if Voxic comes up for sale, and they've got a chance to do it. So
put it this way: if you think about the deal they were talking about for Simple and Flamey over at MIBR. And they were talking like, what was it, like, I don't know, fucking 750,000
for both of them, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Which I think is a fucking bargain, by the way. Like, people say that's too much. Like, mate, I'd pay that for Simple.
Yeah, it might even have been more. It might even have been like higher. But whatever, neither here nor there. But like, if you offered me like Issa and Woxic for, I don't know, 400, 500,000, like, yeah, I'll bite your hand off for that if I'm a team that needs strengthening.
Yeah. No, I think that's when I'm interested. Like, this Hellraisers team, like, it's fair enough. They'll cause some upsets, so they can sometimes get to the playoffs occasionally. But the amount of issues they have, and like how destructive that should be to a team, like if they can actually go to every event with their squad and get the experience under their belt, sure, we might have to be onto something. But at this current state, those guys need to get in the team where they can go to events consistently, not be worried and have this demon in the back of their head saying, "Oh, you might not go to this event this time. Is it even worth practicing and all this stuff?"
Yeah. Well,
like, as soon as they get that sorted, then we're onto something with him. Those young guys hopefully can still make it happen.
Think about how big it's going to be as well, having Issa when the Emirates and Saudi Arabia and Qatar and all these places start getting involved in esports, and you've got the leading players.
Where's the big Emirates sort of esports org? Why has no one ever got to like the Emiratis and board of that? Like, let's do a Middle Eastern proper esports org, buy all the big fucking names, bring them in, and just launch.
They tried. Do you not remember CGS?
Yeah, but that's different, right? That was still backed by the Americans, presumably.
Yeah, but they wanted to have that franchise that never became officially sanctioned. That Dubai Mirage.
If your example was CGS as well, you have to remember that esports wasn't even a fucking term back then.
Oh yeah,
like,
of course.
So like, this is a very different day and age. You think by now with the amount of viewership and exposure that this gets, like some sort of rich like oil baron in Dubai, you're thinking like, let's get involved. Let's fucking just throw a few million in here and have some fun with it. It's like a tax project at least. It's like,
but I mean, I think that's going to happen now. Like, especially over in Saudi, they got like this new Prince guy who's a bit more moderate, and he's actually said, "Let me find it for you," because I had some people hit me up and say, "Listen, do you want to?"
That's the kind of gig I need to be an esports consultant for. Just fly me out there. I'll quit casting. I'll and I'll do whatever he wants. I'll give him all the advice he needs.
It was back in April. Yeah, here you go. KSA eSports. So you can Google this, KSA eSports, Kingdom to develop first ever electronic Saudi professional league, and it's the Saudi Arabian Federation for Electronic and Intellectual Sports. It's what they're called, and they've now got like sort of the blessing of like this new Prince dude who's like more moderate and he understands gaming and he understands youth culture, and they're basically saying they wanted to, he wants to have this level of investment. So I got contacted and I was like, hey, do you want to come to Saudi and like meet these people and talk about esports with them? And I was like, nah, dog. No, I'm all right.
Not for me.
Not for me, mate.
I couldn't go. You should pass someone to me, mate. I'd have gone.
Nah, listen, I can't do it in good conscience. I can't go to Saudi and pretend I'm all right with it. I can't.
What do you mean? What are you not all right with?
Just a human rights record. I can't.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like you're still executing people in the fucking streets, mate. I'm not all right with that. I'm not going to come out and be like, "Oh yes, thank you very much."
Those are the kind of countries it's illegal to be gay, for example, right?
Yeah, and I can't, mate. I can't in good conscience like go out and just pretend that everything's okay. It's the same reason why I've turned down a lot of work in China, because I don't want to go out and basically talk directly to youth and youth culture, which is what you do through esports, knowing that there is a regime that censors what that youth culture has access to, and maybe they're not even cognizant of it. Maybe they're not even aware, that there is a special version of Google in China, and you don't get to see certain things. And I don't want to go and make a regime look like hip and cool if they're like killing political dissidents. I won't do that. I know a lot of people. I had this discussion back when I used to talk with Robert Olin before the election drove him crazy, like so many other people. And he basically said to me, when they did the event in Moscow, it was at the height of the border tensions in Crimea. Yeah. And he said, fucking listen, we're not doing the event for Putin. We're not doing the event for the Russian regime and the Russian oligarchs. We're doing it for the Russian people. And why shouldn't we? Why should we deprive the Russian people of access to great esports events? And I said, sure, that's another way of looking at it. But another way of looking at it is, of course, that if you do the events and you go, hey, everything's okay, everything's fine, look, we're even doing esports events out here, you are kind of like acting as the curtain that hides the brutality.
Sure.
And I in good conscience, can't do that.
All right, well,
I know that's a bit serious, bit serious for 4 a.m, mate.
I've just woken up, and Richard, I hate to do this to you. I know I would love to stay.
Yeah, you've got to bail. Yeah. No, you said yeah. Well,
run 2 hours.
Yeah, well, look, when you're done having your dinner with your mates, hit me up. I'm sure we'll only be on the 3rd game by the time you're back, probably, because of all the fucking delays.
This map might still be going on when I'm back.
Well,
so
I'm like sat here F5 waiting for the fucking server to open up so I can spectate in it. Hasn't it? They're not even
sat down, mate.
Yeah, they're not even in warm up now. So yeah, go and get your dinner, mate. Just give me a ping when you get back, and we'll fucking.
All right.
We'll have an hour. Vince will probably be here later. I think Sam's gonna drop by, and we'll get a few others. Right. Maybe get Banks in. Would you look at that? So,
all right, I'll message you when I'm on my way back, at least, so
Yeah.
You can announce the H-bomb's coming back.
I will, mate.
That's
you look
Henry,
after yourself.
Yeah,
Hank, big Hank. All right, enjoy your dinner, motherfucker.